All right, now make sure you don't have any tabs open besides Sekiro. No furry porn.
Oh.
Close it.
Why'd you have to ruin my day like
Go going back into the mine files.
that? um,
Anyway, Sekiro. Sekiro's a good game.
oh yeah, we're recording, aren't we? It sure
Yeah.
is.
Sekiro, I think you, from at least my understanding of like our conversations about it, you like it more. I love it,
Fucking
but
love Sekiro.
it doesn't hit the fucking love part of me. Like it probably would still make like a top 50 games of all time list for me still,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. I mean it's a FromSoft game and that's so yeah, obviously. But I do have some things about it that kind of don't flow with me entirely,
Fair enough, fair enough.
which I respect. Like in a weird way, Sekiro feels like the most traditional and the least traditional at the same exact time
Yeah.
in terms of like design philosophy. It's like on paper, it's like almost like a just regular PS2 action adventure game. Like the setup of it is,
Yeah.
and obviously the combat being more straightforward in one way, but then just being like stripped down, and then there being no like other options besides like learning the game to actually fucking play it.
Yeah. Yeah. There, you have one option, and that's to figure out how what your boss does and counter it.
Yep.
Yep. And you have one sword, and I guess you have some weapons, the
Yes.
arm weapons that make it kind of interesting. But I mean, at the end of the day, none of those are gonna like carry you through the game.
No.
They're kind of just like a fun seasoning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's like I watched one review of like a guy talking about it. Like it was like Sekiro is the most replayable FromSoft game. I was like, "Ah, what the fuck are you talking about, homie?" And he kind of mentioned a lot of that stuff, like in it, like a lot of the options you have, like the not just counter with pairing, but counter with all the like additional like not RPG or like just the only like slightly RPG element in the game is like just the what's it called in the game?
The skills or moves.
Skills, but the just your cool mechanical funky arm.
Ninja tools.
Ninja
Ninja
tools.
tools. That's the name of my
Yeah,
sword shop in the mall.
hell yeah. Dude, that was always the best fucking place in the mall. That place is
That
sick.
was the best place to chill, man.
Yeah, those have been closed down across the entire United States at this point.
That's sad, dude. Where else will I get my keyblade and also a weird porcelain statue of an angel at the same place?
Yep.
Um,
What a fucking aesthetic. This
indeed.
place rule. Anyway, dude, Armored Warriors first. Armored Warriors is like
I
a
fucking
great
love
place to
Armored. I
start.
think that's an easy A. Almost S, honestly.
Holy shit! Damn, you're getting right off the board. Armored Warriors, I think a B for me. Yeah, I would say B. For one, being fucking funny as hell is always a huge plus.
Yeah,
Like one of the most like quotable lines in the entire thing. Like it's just so funny to like meet somebody and like does it ever really like delve into like the backstory of the Armored Warrior? I don't
yeah,
know if it does,
get
but
ready.
like you just fucking he has like you just meet him out of fucking nowhere and he seems like he's on this entirely other quest of his own and you just fucking end it. It's
That's
so good.
literally exactly what happened, and that's why I love him so much. To me, this is like a really good example of FromSoft boss design. It's funny, you knock him off, Robert. Um, but Robert was his son who was dying, who he came here to try to find a cure for.
Oh.
So you just killed Robert's dad and Robert also.
Yeah, basically. You so you murdered and then manslaughtered in by peering him hard
Two
enough.
birds with one stone. Yeah, and
Fucking
I love how it's a simple, it's a simple kind of like counter style boss with a little bit of like environmental challenge. I like that it changes because in a lot of Sekiro bosses, the main goal and the main challenge remains pretty much the same. Like
Hmm.
parry all the moves, hit them when you can, break the posture. Whereas this game or this boss actually forces you to think a little bit differently about it, since he's so heavily armored, doesn't really take much damage or posture damage, and so I like how it gets you to think somewhat creatively and figure out, oh, I could just launch him out the window.
Yeah, he actually, I mean, he kind of like resembles the more of like even a Demon Souls boss in that sense,
That's
where
also
it's not
something I like about it.
necessarily. I mean, you do have to parry or you do have to counter him to get him off, but there is a little puzzle involved, and it's literally. I think it's generally hard. The figuring out the puzzle is probably like the hardest part of it. Once you figure out the puzzle, then you just kind of like work it out. But it's still neat to think
Yeah,
that all right, they have like a base set of like these are the mechanics of the games, and like out of like all the bosses, like they're just to have those little like thrown in ones that like represent like oh well these mechanics generally are for this kind of boss fight, but just take away certain elements and now you have like a puzzle.
yeah, and
It's just super cool.
and I like it's not like a stupid puzzle where it's like, oh, I had to throw my hook shot at the little orange pixel in the corner. It's just like, no, he's gonna break the wall pieces as you fight him, and you kind of just naturally figure out, oh, that's what I could do. It's very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, good shit.
Hell yeah.
Is Ashina Elite? This is the guy. Is this the guy before Genichiro?
Ashina Elite. Yes, it is.
I like this guy
I like this guy. I think I have to
actually.
give him a B because he's kind of a glorified regular character, but I really want to put him an A just for what he represents in the game. Um,
Yeah, he's another brick wall. Can you do this? If not, you're gonna die.
yeah, and I like and his placement is freaking perfect, man. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
finally made it through this castle of death that has just been kicking your ass, and if you haven't figured out how to parry by now, like this will be your deathbed. You'll end the game right here, or you'll have to execute what you just learned even harder in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
what's funny as fuck is like, well, just the fact that you just fight like a bunch of those like the same design guys, and then you just walk into the room and you're just like, oh, it's just another one of these dudes. All right, whatever. And then you see the little extra little like red glow at the bottom. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like, where's my big climactic jump in the air counter lightning? Like, no, it's just this dude in a room, and good luck getting past him.
well, yeah, I also love too because, like you said, like these types of enemies are earlier in the level, but this is the first time you're forced to actually just fight them straight on. Like in the other, like
Yeah.
throughout, you could just stealth them. There's a good
Oh, that's
chance that you
true.
haven't actually fought any of them face to face by this point. So
And
it's
those guys are bitches.
yeah,
Yeah, that little area before, there's so many points where you can get stuck if you don't if you don't utilize stealth. There is a high probability you're going to be fighting multiple at once, and that is that's a real tough time
indeed it is.
for gamers across the
I
world.
love this whole room, man. That whole part and how it like you could jump off into the middle too, and there's some shit down there, and the chained guy. Like it's just a
Mm,
like Ashina Castle. One of the reasons I love Sekiro so much, I think, is just a masterful fucking level.
yeah,
Like
it's like at least 30% of the game, if
yeah,
not even a little bit more.
I really like that. I mean, it's another thing. Kind of reminds me of Kingsfield 2 a little bit. Of Dark Souls a little bit, but actually kind of better in a certain way.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
fucking awesome. Anyway,
yeah. Who's this next homie?
I think this is just like the slightly powered up version of the same guy that you could fight on one of the endings later on. I'm just gonna put him. I think it's like the same fight, just a little harder.
I might put him in the didn't do lol tier just
Okay,
because I just don't have a very specific memory of this homie. But if it's generally the same idea,
I
then I
think
mean it would also just be B tier.
I'm pretty sure he's kind of in the basement of the building. That
The second time?
no, he's like kind of to the side. You know where um, what is that guy's name? Like the dude with the mask, who's like the real king of Ashina. Tengu
Mm,
guy. Oh,
yeah. Damn, I still don't remember that much.
oh my god, I can't believe I remember. Anyway, it this guy's in the
I
basement of that building. I'm pretty sure.
out of all the games I think I've maybe well no, Bloodborne and Sekiro are the ones that I've replayed the least.
Yeah,
And it's been about a year since I played Sekiro, so it's been a little minute.
yeah. I mean, going back to what we were talking about earlier with it being replayable, I completely disagree with whoever was saying that it's because of the RPG mechanics. That's just not correct. Um, it is not the most replayable, but it is extremely replayable for a certain type of player.
Yeah,
Because
boss rush.
yeah, exactly. And honestly, I hate to bring up Armored Core again, but it's kind of
You haven't
similar
brought up
thing.
Armored Core yet, Bobby. You have that card still.
Oh shit. Um, Specifically Armored Core 1 and Master of Arena, I guess, and a little Project Phantasma. Usually, like, your first trip through, you're stumbling to shit, you're, like, blowing yourself up, you're getting ganked, as the gamers like to say, and you're barely making it through. But that second playthrough, dude, you feel like a god. You
Oh
just, you just, holy shit. Like, anyway, and that's what it's like in Sekiro. Like, that second playthrough, you're like, I am the Sekiro. And
yeah.
and just like the
And
pure like momentum of the gameplay just really starts to shine.
yeah, that's actually like one of the best things about their design is they I mean they're fucking smart because the first playthrough you generally are thrown like in like throughout their games like you're thrown into like a place that is purposefully making you uncomfortable, mysterious, obtuse, and you still learn to navigate it even if you like run through an area barely by the skin of your teeth, like you still just like made it that one time. The second time, like these places or these enemies, they become like well, there's a sense of gratification that
Yeah.
you don't really get in a lot of games when you're like, I've like either I've mastered this territory that was once like, or this enemy or whatever that's like once really fucked you up. And that's just a great feeling.
It really is. And I just think that this game's mechanics lend itself to that sort of vibe a lot better than the
Oh
other
yeah,
ones.
and it's so immediate too. Like the second you start up Medium Plus, you're just like zooming,
Yeah.
fucking zooming. Literally, like what took you 5 hours can take you like half an hour.
Yeah, and also
I
yeah,
can
and
just
it
say,
has that good level design I like where you could just kind of go all sorts of different ways and just blast through at your own pace. It's very fun.
yeah. Yeah, Blazing Bolt. I fucking love Blazing Bolt.
Blazing Bull. I don't I kind of want to put him in C, but I like his intro a lot. That might just put him in B.
Yeah. He's a easy B. He's like the equivalent like when we did like the Dark Souls tier list, he's like Demon tier for me.
Really?
Like they can just do these kind of bosses. I always love these kind of bosses in these games. I don't know like where obviously they're testing like a different uh aspect of their like combat system. And it's just I mean, funny as fuck. You're literally a luchador in Sekiro. It's so good.
Yeah, it's kind of true. And it's pretty
Yeah.
it's pretty good, but I guess my thing is it doesn't really have too much like to offer on repeat playthroughs. You know, he doesn't really do.
Oh
He
no.
only has a couple attacks. You know, but he's a good boss. He's a classic FromSoft boss. Honestly, like I
Yeah,
don't know if you like. I Every game has to have this kind of guy, and I appreciate him for that.
definitely.
All right. Corrupted
Corrupted
Monk.
Monk Illusion.
Illusion. I'd call that a
I think
solid
is this
C.
the first time? Because I mean, Elden Ring, they actually there's like a couple illusion or like kind of like those bosses where it's like a stripped down version of like a later game boss. I feel like this might be the first time they really did something like that in the Souls games.
Yeah, this guy he's the exact same enemy that you fight later on in the palace, except here I think he might only have two health bars, and he doesn't
Hmm.
have like his final form or anything like that. And he's a ghost, so you can use snap seeds I think to fuck him up. Um,
Oh yeah, can you snap seeds? I do one thing. My
I think.
like little personal pet peeve in Sekiro is just I feel like in this boss you have to use divine confetti.
Yeah, I
I
seem to
feel like
remember
because
it
I know
was
there's a few like the like corrupted or like ghostly motherfuckers. I think you have to use, which is kind of I feel like I get maybe why they do it because like if you run out of defined confetti, then all right, you kind of like forced to like either explore somewhere else or like find a way to get more. But that always like having to use an item to like do a boss is like maybe a little bit of like a pet peeve to me.
Well, I'm going to be a little downer on that real quick and
Do
say
it.
you absolutely don't have to use divine confetti for a corrupted monk. It helps.
Really?
It helps a lot. However, there are some enemies that you do need divine confetti for. I'm not sure if those are actually technically required, but it's pretty much inadvisable to do it without them. Uh,
think I think the only one that's required is the first Shishman
it's the Shichiman
warrior.
warriors and the headless,
Yeah.
which I really like those guys. I think it's fine to have to use some kind of special technique to kill them because they're entirely optional and they function more as something to scare the shit out of you when you fall into an area you don't want. So for that reason, I think them being connected to the divine confetti is pretty rad because it heightens the like fear of falling into a hole with one of these things.
Hmm.
You're like, I can't even fucking fight this guy. Like I'm running out. Like what the like? It's just
Like I'm gonna dip.
yeah, it's just pure spook, and I like that. But anyway,
Yeah. I moved him up to B tier. He is an incredibly fun move set.
he really does.
Even the illusion version, even though it is like a stripped down version, like it's still. I mean, I kind of for more complicated bosses, I don't really mind fighting an illusion for him.
Yeah,
Like about people like, oh, it's a duplicate boss, whatever. But like, obviously the like it was like a little like practice round. Like you think this is tough? Wait until you see the real motherfucker Mike.
yeah, I love that. And also, I think there's maybe some lore to this too. Like maybe this is where the monk is
Oh
from,
yeah,
and his soul's still here, but like his body's up. I don't fucking know what's going on.
yeah. I don't know either. But dude, Demon of Hatred. Let's fucking go.
Demon of Hatred S.
Yeah, easy S. What a
Easy
banger.
ass, dude. This thing fucking rules. Like one of the best Dark Souls bosses ever, but it's in Sekiro. So
Yeah, Demon of Hatred fucks.
yeah, like they finally do. They made this good ass demon fight. Beats the shit out of Dark Souls 3 demon fights for sure.
Yeah, honestly, the demon fight. I don't know. I don't fucking. I just like. I don't know if I'm just been playing these games too much, but like Demon of Hatred fucks me up. While those fights, like they look intimidating, but you just dodge roll R1, dodge
Yeah,
roll R1. Like
exactly.
Demon of Hatred, you're much more having to be on your toes at all times and like navigating the mechanics of the game
Yeah,
constantly.
it's one of the most brutal like points of execution in the whole game because he has
Hmm.
he has more he has an extra health bar compared to like everything else besides the final boss. You don't really do much damage to him and you don't get a lot of windows to attack him, so you basically have to be like fully online the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
um, Besides that, I love the way his moveset is animated. I love his funny little stances he does.
Hmm.
And also his lore is fucking excellent, dude. That's the idol carver guy.
Yeah.
He used to be the orangutan, I'm pretty sure.
And interestingly enough, what you become in one of the endings, which is
Yeah.
fucking also rad as shit.
Yeah, and I feel like that makes it extra cool that it's kind of like a weird. I seem to remember it's kind of difficult to get to him. You'd only get him in one pathway, maybe. I forgot, but you have to like backtrack. You have to do some shit to get to him.
Yeah, he is off the beaten path.
And yeah, I have like a major love of ridiculously hard bosses that are also ridiculously hard to even find. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, good shit right there. Demon of Hatred, easy S.
Oh yeah, banger soundtrack too, actually.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Divine
Divine
Dragon.
Dragon.
All right.
S.
Oh, I was gonna get. I wanted to guess, but I thought you were gonna put A. I put A, but I understand S too.
He's the perfect spectacle boss for From Software. He's
Oh
beautiful.
yeah, he's up there with Storm for me, like the
Storm King,
three
yeah.
Storm King, and then uh Snake Snake Boy from
Oh
Elden
yeah, from
Ring.
Elden Ring.
Which
Yeah.
I do think Snake Boy might I probably put it in the tier of like Snake Boy, Storm King, and then Divine Dragon. though just something about the like the gray mundanity, but like all of a sudden like how much Demon Souls like disempowers you as a player, but then you just have this sword and you're shooting shit from the sky. Like the jump in like how weak you are versus like that like moment makes it like really special to me. Like Sekiro, like you are a very powerful like character still, so it doesn't quite, but you are fighting like a mythological god using thunder magic
Yeah,
in this moment.
and yeah,
But
and
yeah, I think that that jump definitely adds it, and then I think Snake Boy is like the perfect like all around mechanical like not only a fun fight, not only an amazing design and like cutscene, like like everything is like piled on top and it's like incredible. Divine Dragon's still really good. Oh.
yeah. For me, dude, like Divine Dragon, right? So most of the game, like there are supernatural elements, right?
Mm.
But usually you're looking at people in armor, or maybe a demon, or a samurai or a monk. But generally something that's like kind of human-like, and the game doesn't make any jump into like just totally fantastical. Besides like maybe the
Like
headless
the very end.
enemies or the whatever. And in this, yeah, this is a optional area again, which and it's just, I mean,
Wait, Divine Dragon?
I'm pretty sure,
No, you have to do the Divine Dragon to get the tier, broy.
yeah, but you could just do the Shura ending.
Oh well, I mean, technically anything past that ending is optional.
Yeah,
So
that's
I kind
true.
of get what you're saying. Yeah.
But like it's the Divine Dragon is so good, not just for the boss fight, but the whole lead up to it. Getting carried on the rope guy, the monk. That whole level is one of my favorite levels, in the game. And it's like you start to feel kind of the momentum of the fantastical, kind of more divine land that you're in. And as you move through it and finally get close up there towards the end, there's that weird building with all the like dead nobles in it. And you're like, ooh, it's creepy, a little creepy. And then finally you get this beautiful, like literally like a stairway to heaven. And at the end of it, the Divine Dragon. It's just an excellent. If you're gonna break that barrier between like kind of sticking, to somewhat normal things, to like full on gods and dragons and all that shit, it's the perfect way to do it.
Oh yeah.
And just the way that the dragon is animated, dude, like you're in the clouds, all the movement, the fact that you get to use the lightning so liberally, it's good because part of why it's good is because it's not hard. You can
Hmm.
just sit there and actually just enjoy being powerful for a minute with a fucking dragon, and it looks beautiful and it's excellent.
I love it. Don't even kill it. You just wound it big enough, like well enough to get what you need, and then there's that like the like I love how From Software really like when there is like a detailed animation they like go all in. Like when it's like
Yeah,
really important, they go all in. When obviously a lot of their games in terms of like facial animations are like very minimal.
yeah,
But like the moment like just him collecting the tear and it's just
so
it's like a
memorable.
really like a caress like of like
Yeah,
respect and like yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. Like the only other thing I could think of off the top of my head, like in comparison to that, is like the hug from Fia and Elden Ring, like an
yeah,
oddly detailed animation that makes you feel lots of things. They perfectly know where to utilize like the resources to like spend the time to do that for like maximum emotional effect.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck
and
yeah, dude.
it is what a gorgeous creation too. Like Divine Dragon, like it it really is like almost as close to like a perfect realization of like what like a mythological like divine being
Yeah.
would be like if you were in the presence of one like as like they did such a wonderful job of like displaying that. Man, what a fight.
What if I, um,
Dude, Emma,
Emma, put her name.
this is if you're a real shithole.
Yeah.
You fight her.
I'm not gonna lie, it's for this reason that I've only done the Shura ending once. I mean, I probably got to New Game Plus 5, but I only did one Shura.
I've only done it once too.
Yeah, I don't like having to fight Emma, but I mean, it's cool. It's an A. It's a good fight. It's sad. It makes me
It
feel
is
bad.
sad. It's like, man, you didn't really think that either you didn't think that decision through or
It just
or
feels wrong, dude. Like you just
yeah,
get
it
that
feels
like,
so
oh
wrong.
shit, I definitely did the wrong thing here.
Yep.
And it almost deserves kind of an S for that, I guess. But it's, I don't know, it's an okay fight.
I, I put it in B tier just because I would put the next homie fight in A.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
kind of my, at least my thinking of it. Like it
Well,
is like in terms of like I mean the I think the best thing about Sekiro being more narratively uh I don't want to say concrete, but there's just more narrative, direct to narrative content in Sekiro. I hate using the word content too, but like all the boss fights, even if you don't entirely understand what's going on, there is still like a very strong like emotional core to like every major boss fight in the game,
yeah,
and basically that is a huge like elevating thing. I mean that's the real FromSoft sauce is when you can take like a mechanics of like a video game where you are literally basically playing an action rhythm game, but there's that elevation of the mechanics to different themes outside of it. Like that's Emma does that. So
absolutely.
actually, I just I'm gonna do this like the entire video. I'm gonna convince myself to put in higher tiers than what I originally started with. The more I think about
Yeah,
it.
well, that's the problem with From Software, isn't it?
Yep, that is.
But yeah, I'm gonna put her in A for a very simple reason, and that's that it's kind of like I put her together also with oh my gosh, his name is still evading me, but you know,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Ashina
yeah.
guy who comes after, and I think together they're like an A.
Yeah, definitely.
Father Owl.
Uh, you real fucked up. A
Yeah,
Father Owl.
Father Owl. S.
I might even go S plus.
This game is too good, dude. Dude, every owl
I've,
fight is at bare minimum S.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, all of them. Oh yeah, we are ranking them. With the so the oh I mean there are two separate fights for sure. Great
Yeah.
Shinobi Owl in comparison is almost the equivalent of like the Illusion Corrupted Monk in terms of like full
Yeah.
like revealing like a full mechanical depth of this is how much your father would kill you.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, and it's another thing, dude. Sekiro does this so good with like hiding just some of the best bosses behind like a couple layers of bullshit,
Hmm.
and that always for me is gonna elevate the experience because I feel like I'm like I don't know, it makes it feel a little extra special, and I don't know, it's just
I
a
don't know.
really
I
well
mean,
designed fight.
it's clear that they love to do it because they do it all the fucking time.
Yeah. What's
Which is
important
great.
Yeah, what's important about this fight too is how it changes up a lot of the timings you've kind of come to expect. He plays dirty, he throws balls at you,
Oh yeah.
and in this particular fight, he has a fucking flaming eagle. Uh,
Yeah.
that's something. Anyway, another excellent
I
Sekiro
want
fight.
that level up.
Hell yeah,
I want the flaming eagle.
don't we all?
Yeah.
Burst chained
Maybe in
ogre.
another life. First chained ogre.
Uh,
I almost want to put him in no, he's a straight B.
I agree. He's a straight B. He becomes an S plus when he throws new players off into the abyss. Other than
Yeah.
other than that,
Like I feel like he's like I mean, the throw move isn't purposefully programmed, it's just depending on like the direction he is, but
yeah.
obviously the level design of having that cliff there just for and having the ability to what's it called? Grapple yourself back in. Like that was very clearly done and that is a fantastic introduction, like early introduction to Sekiro is getting thrown off a cliff by ogre.
Absolutely. It's good shit. It's also the first boss that requires you to fight something that's not using a sword or a spear.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, unless you go. No, I think that's the first boss like that.
Oh yeah,
Which
absolutely.
reminds you, like, hey, we're gonna have a little kind of more Soulsy style bosses too. You know, you gotta get your shit together. You gotta have a couple different strategies.
Yep.
It's nice.
You can't just do the exact same thing the entire game. What a concept.
Whoa!
Yeah. But yeah, love his design. I just love mean, ugly looking folk. So he fits that category.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
First, Shichimin Warrior. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna put the Shichimins in C, maybe D.
The first one is good because it is spooky.
Yeah, that's
Because
what's
it like
keeping it up
because
there.
you there's two ways to get into that area, but I think one of the ways you can get into relatively earlier than the other, and that's how I found him. And at that point, that there was a big dark like cavern, and he's like, what the fuck? And then
Yeah.
not doing any damage, stuff like that. In terms of like mechanical like satisfaction, he's not very. He's probably like my least favorite of like the mini bosses.
Probably the most boring, honestly, mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you use your whatchamacallit, your umbrella tool for him and just kind of go nuts. He's all right,
Yeah.
but he gets the C for being a cool, spooky boss that'll kick your ass if you don't run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Foldy screen monkeys.
Oh, yeah. There are 12 monkeys over here. There's 12 monkeys over there.
Everything's just gonna be fucking beat.
I,
I like these. I like these guys.
yeah,
I mean, like on repeat playthroughs. I mean, once you kind of know like how to like figure it out, like it is pretty quick, and it obviously isn't as engaging as like the first time where like you were like crouched over, like looking around the environment trying to find these fucking monkeys.
yeah.
They really made some real sneaky monkeys.
Yeah.
They're real sneakers.
I'm struggling. I don't know if it's B or C because on repeat playthroughs, it does become a little annoying because you just know what you're supposed to do already, and sometimes you get trapped in that little house, like the house at the end with all the beams and shit, just kind of jumping around
Yeah.
for a minute. Like it's not crazy fun after the first time, but I guess I'll give it a B because it is genuinely interesting the first time around. You're like, what the fuck's
Mhm.
going on? Like the way you get there even is pretty cool, and it's just pretty unique as far as from software bosses go. It's neat. It makes you think.
Yeah.
Really makes you think. Anyway,
Neato, dude. General
uh,
Matsumoto.
General Matsumoto. I'm gonna put him in a solid B.
I would think for me. I'm doing C. He's just he. I don't really remember his moveset.
I
I don't
like
anything too specific about him,
I like
besides the
this.
fact that he killed me a bunch.
Yeah, I like this guy. He's just like a nice little discouragement from entering the castle head
Right.
on, which encourages you to interact more with like the ninja mechanics. He's surrounded by gun guys too, which is really fucking annoying. So
Yeah.
once again, it really requires you to use like your ninja stealthy kind of skills to get rid of those guys before you fight him. And when you fight him, he's just like a nice little classic, sword on sword kind of action.
Yeah. It's definitely a bit of a baller.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Yeah.
General Naomori Kawarada.
This
Kawarada.
is the very first mini boss after like the tutorial area.
Yeah, this guy. I'm sorry.
I'd also put him in C.
I'm gonna put him in C too. Yeah, I mean he's
Yeah.
all right. He's a good little first boss. That's fine.
Yeah.
General Tenzin Yamauchi.
No, this guy fucking rips.
Yamauchi. Yeah, I love this dude. A.
Yeah, it's very A. I love the fact you fight the first chain ogre, like, oh cool, I can maybe progress to like some like level, I can kind of do shit. And he's just like,
Like just
I mean, I would say I would say he's probably I wouldn't say well maybe significantly harder than first chain ogre. He tests your more like core sword play rather than first chain ogre. So in terms of like core gameplay, he's the biggest challenge up to that point.
right. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I know, dude. Everyone I know got smashed by this guy. First
Oh, yeah.
first playthrough.
I love the fact you can just fucking skip him too. You don't gotta fight him right then and there.
Yeah, he's just like you don't even have to actually fight him.
You're
That's
just like
what's so
walking
hilarious.
by.
Yeah. First try, you're like, man, this is the fucking this game. You should literally just walk around
This game stinks.
it. He's a great fight, man. I don't know what else
Oh, yeah,
to
he's
say.
fantastic.
Another
Just big
example.
swording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another example too of when gank bosses are actually good. Because
Which they almost always are.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
We'll maybe go into that another day.
Well, let's get into Genichiro here. They have him separated by way of Tomoe and his regular version,
Yeah, I
but
don't.
those are both
I'm
part
just
of the same
gonna.
boss fight. So
Yeah, they're the same boss fight. It's literally a second phase.
yeah,
That's kind of weird.
that's dumb.
But he's my other S plus.
I'm really not sure if I want to put him in S plus or not. I'm very fucking close though. I mean, it's really close.
He's like the only one where like I feel like I have. I mean, you fight him. Well, I mean, he's in the tutorial. He's the first stage of the final boss. You're fighting him here, like the kind of like mid game to late mid game, depending on like how early you do end up fighting him. But you fight him like here, this like big climactic thing. Like his move set is actually like in like I have played his move set, and my brain has generated new neuron pathways for this move set. So
Yeah,
his programming has manifested itself biologically in my being at this point.
you know what? You're right. It's an S plus, especially where it's in the fucking level, dude. On the
Oh,
top of the freaking castle, dude. After all that shit,
yeah.
like what a reward, man. A boss that kicks your ass with two phases, and it's the real test, honestly. Like after the
Hmm.
little guy, um, honestly, like the first just big boy boss, and just perfectly executed.
Yep.
The way too, it pulls the classic FromSoft move where you're all fucked up by the third phase. You don't even know it exists the first time because you're like, surely that was everything. Um, yeah, and then he whips out the lightning, and this is a perfect place to do it. Right up here on the top of the castle, very climactic, very
Mhm.
thematic, man. Just good shit.
Literally turns into like a Resident Evil 4 boss.
Yeah.
Or just like let me make myself really disgusting for you. But man,
Excellent.
and I love how like well obviously he's like set up as like the primary like antagonist of the game. He literally chops your arm off in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So even if you don't know necessarily like the full context of like the story and like what role he's playing, you as like a player like instinctively you're like, I'm gonna get this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, dude, you got your arm cut off by him earlier, so by this
Yeah.
point you've been through fucking hell to get here, and you're ready to kick his ass.
Yeah, like, getting up to Ashina Castle all the way up means you dealt with the rooms with the Ashina Elite room, the room before that with all the fucking Ashina Elites was walking around, the fucking dude flying himself through the air to ruin your day.
Yep.
But yeah, all of that shit just to get up to him.
What? Yeah, it's just a perfect climax, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know. I'm not gonna rate the tutorial and the final boss version.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird.
I'm putting him in Miss Noble.
Yeah, same.
Great Shinobi Owl though. S.
I'm kind of in between A and S, but
I like both owl fights just as much, honestly.
well,
I don't know which one I prefer. I mean, obviously Father Owl's more difficult, but
yeah.
like this version of Owl is just a really nice boss. It's not too difficult. It's not a major wall. It might be depending on what kind of player you are, but it's more about like kind of like the drama and the fact that this is where you make a major choice about how you're going to do the game.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a major turning point, and also his design's really good. Like the way he's kind of like big and beefy compared to other shinobi, and kind of gives you that dad energy.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's the biggest turning point, and as Wolf as like a main character too.
Absolutely.
Like really, before that moment, he really doesn't have much of a presence. I feel like, and I feel like that's like a really good way to like kind of more interject him into like the narrative more so than just being like a player in the narrative, like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though he's like the player character, like everything you're doing is seeing him from your eyes as a player, but that is the like defining moment for him to where I mean you get to make like a crucial decision
Yeah.
with like two very significantly different paths, different like philosophies that would go to, like towards staying with your father or doing the all the rest of the game. Yeah, it's so good.
It's a narrative that everyone who grew up, I think, in the 2000s watching Fox News with their shitty parents know already. Um, it's
Like
great.
Great Shinobi Owl is the moment when you realize, holy shit, maybe all that bullshit I grew up on is kind of fucked.
Wait, wait, wait. You need to tell me Glenn Beck is crazy?
Maybe that isn't good. Maybe I should do some like look into some other things.
Maybe maybe I shouldn't hate Mexican people.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
So yeah, Great Shinobi Owl. Do you hate Mexican people or not? If
exactly. If you disagree, if you don't think that Great Shinobi Owl is an S, you probably are racist against Mexicans. So
yeah, that's how it works.
that's how it works.
I don't make the rules.
But you know who does make the rules? Guardian Ape.
Yeah, he literally throws the shit at you.
He throws your poop. He throws his poops at you. He farts.
I mean, he's one of the all-time greatest stinky boys, so he's an S tier for me.
It's an easy S, dude. And like, oh my god, as if like the Genichiro like faking you out with the final form. I mean, it's kind of there, but you could also kind of expect it if you know these sort of conventions.
Yeah.
Guardian Ape though goes the extra mile. Like,
Oh yeah.
the first phase is already fun as just fun enough. You're like, god damn, that was a good fight. It takes a while to learn. Cool kind of like environmental options too with your little hook shot.
Oh yeah, I remember
with
that.
the trees
So
and
like
all that.
create more distance quickly from him. It's so good.
Yeah. But then, yeah, the second phase, it says you beat him. It lets you think you totally won before that fucking shit comes out of his head. Oh, man.
It's so good.
It's so good. And that second phase, like, the contrast between the first and second phase is just beautiful. I mean, obviously he's acting like a monkey in the first one. And in the second one, like, you could see that, oh, yeah, in reality, it's a fucking centipede controlling a monkey body, and he really starts to move like it too, which is really cool.
Yeah, man, the animations, like especially like the slithering ones,
Yeah,
it's absolutely chef's kiss.
absolutely.
So
and
good.
of course, there's just like the whole like he's farting and pooping at you in the first phase, and then you get actually spooked by the guy who's just throwing poop at you. I think that's cool.
The key to more immortality is being a centipede.
Yummy.
Yummy.
Okay.
Dude. Blue Masataki.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm just
he's
gonna
A.
I'm gonna insert the voice clip there. A.
Yes, please do.
God
He's
damn.
an A. Easy A. What a good, like, real down and dirty first boss.
Yeah, this is like we keep saying this is the first boss, but the real Sekiro starts here.
Yeah.
Like this guy.
Like,
Go ahead.
oh, like, he's another fantastic example of the first time being a real tough dude, and then the second time you play the game being like the most breeze through worthy boss and like like mainline boss in the entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One thing I really like about him is that, and what sets him apart, obviously, from the other bosses, is his movement. And the fact that you get a lot of opportunities to kind of use your hookshot to get a hit in, kind of like the ogre. Except this guy is just a lot cooler, more fleshed out. Like I said, I like the movement a lot. Having to parry the spear too is probably pretty new to you at that point, unless you went through the manor. Just a good ass fight and a literal gatekeeper. So
yep. As literal like one of many in Sekiro.
yeah.
Man. What a dude. I do like the just getting you kind of like, I don't know, I feel like that fight kind of, because like a lot of the games they definitely have had an issue with what you can or cannot parry.
Yeah,
Like a lot of times you think, oh, it's a boss or like a monster boss, I can't parry. But like this one, you think like, well, can I parry this giant ass sphere? And like, yes, you can. That is still the fight, and it's just a much different timing dynamic to fight on a horse with like different movement, and then a different, vastly different weapon than like what you've been fighting up to that point.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
think you could parry the horse too. Don't quote me on that, but that's pretty fun.
Video games parry the horse. Dude, that should be like an entire game.
Horse parrying?
Yeah, just can you parry the horse?
That's fun, dude. Horse sword fighting.
Yeah,
But
I'm
it's like
down.
the horses fighting. Anyway,
Headless Eco.
this is one.
Oh, is this one that's the headless
It's one of
homies?
the
Yeah.
headlesses. I'm just
They're like my
gonna.
least favorite fights in the game.
I actually like them a lot. They're not really fun
Really?
to fight, but the fact that they're not fun to fight and that you feel just like shit the whole time you're around this guy is perfect thematically for what they are. So
I'm a big fan of the underwater fight with two of them.
oh yeah, that's fun.
Is that one in here? Oh yeah. And this Ungo.
Hmm.
I think that's the underwater one. I like that one. Otherwise, I do like how early the first one is placed in the game.
Yeah, I like what they
'Cause,
do
like you
for the
can
game.
do it even you can fight him before Ogre.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I
right there.
did that. I
Yeah,
died
I did.
first
I saw
try.
that and I'm just like, I'm gonna dip.
Yeah, like it's just it's one of those things where the fight is serviceable, but what they do and where they're placed in the world really elevates it, I think, to the next level. And the sort of danger they represent of like you're most likely definitely gonna die. You're double, triple gonna die if you don't have any confetti or anything like that.
Yeah.
I like that it's just basically a straight up horror element in the game. Like you can kill him, but I think you're generally supposed to get freaked out and not want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I was, so
Yeah,
I understand that.
and I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Anyway,
Still hate him though. Fuck him. No.
this
Dude, headless ape.
is some bullshit. I'm gonna put him in. I'm thinking about putting like second phases down in Miss Noble tier, but that's I guess I'll just put him next to Guardian Knight.
Wait, no, this is the extra special you fight two apes at once fight.
Is it?
I bel- yes, I recognize that cavern.
Okay. Well, that's. I guess I'll put it. I don't
Because
know.
I think you fight the guardian ape first, and then like maybe the second one comes out just a second after, unless it's somewhere else. I don't see another ape fight
No.
on here. Yeah,
Yeah.
this has to be that fight.
Okay. Yeah. It's the double ape fight. I think my favorite thing about it is where it is, because it's like one of those boss fights you could just kind of stumble on by accident and just like, what the
Hmm.
fuck is happening here? Um, and that's how I found it first time. I was just like going back through this area for some reason, and I'm like, oh, cool. There's a double
I
headless
think
ape
I
fight
think
now.
killing Genitrio triggers it because the first time I played through Sekiro, I remember I just walked through the cavern and that was it. Like I just walked through it and I was like, oh, that was weird.
Huh.
Like fuck. Yeah, like it was just empty and I was like, oh, this looks like it's gonna be a boss arena at some point. I'll remember that.
Yeah.
And then on a different playthrough of Sekiro I had, I think even before I fought Guardian Ape, I could not progress until I killed these two apes.
Ooh. Anyway,
I like this fight though. I mean,
it's a good
I'm a
fight.
huge fan of double fights and like all of their games. I almost always have a blast, and this one's like no different. Like you just don't lock on. You're constantly sprinting. The second ape, the like brownish one with a different move set. I think he throws like fire or something on him, but he is like he takes like significantly more damage than the other one.
Yeah.
It's just like, and it's this huge giant like cavern. So like you have so much room to like run around and like deal with the threat. slowly, methodically taking like one out or like however you want to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. I love that shit. I'm all about it.
It's like, man, hey, I really loved Guardian Ape and its second phase. Let's fight both at once, and it's
Why
fun.
not both?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it is a great fight, and the fact that it can possibly like really get to it in a way that's kind of fucked up is kind of. I'm really glad that
Yeah.
happened my second playthrough and not my first,
Yeah, dude.
because that would have been shit.
And also, for the boners out there who are gonna say, "Ooh, it's just like a repeated boss fight," it's fucking fun, dude. Like, fuck
Yeah,
off. Like, this is a good. It's just fun. It's cool, and it's entirely option. Maybe not entirely optional, but it'll be optional for some
partially.
people.
Most people, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Like, I feel like a lot of like modern like Souls like critique it basically falls down to, did they do this thing? Then it's automatically bad when it's just like, well, what the like, it was it? Did he have? Was it fun?
Well, see, that's
Was
the
it fun? Funny? Was it interesting? Does it like diminish the game, or does it just like, is that just like a fun fight? Like, it's
right.
just a fucking really fun fight to fight two of those fuckers at once.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to have a little more extra content in your fucking game, dude.
Yeah.
A lot of people just it's because they get their opinions from memes on Reddit or Twitter. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, bullshit.
bullshit. Headless Gotchin, Headless Gokon, both going in Miss Noble because we already rated Headlesses.
That is true. Actually, if we're rating headless as like a general concept, I'd put it in C.
Okay, yeah.
Except I'd put headless Ungu because it's like wildly different because you fight two of them underwater up in B though.
Yeah, I'm putting them in B2 just because it's like, what the fuck is this, dude? I don't think Souls has ever had an underwater double headless with this weird ass mechanic fight
Sounds like
before.
one of these fuckers played I think it's Monster Hunter 3, the one that you like do monster fights underwater. One of them played it and they're like, "Hey, why not do this?"
Yeah.
Miyazaki's like, "All right."
And I like that, and it adds a nice little creepy threat to the underwater, which would have been like turning into almost something pleasant if they weren't there.
Yeah, because at that point, I don't think there's been any like significant. I mean, there's like the little like more cinematic chase sequence with big fish, but there's not really any other like significant combat underwater
Uh
besides like these dudes. And I love this like the dashing in, getting a couple hits in, dashing away quick. Like,
yeah, for like a
that's
kind
so
of
cool.
for like a pretty secondary mechanic, it feels pretty good like fighting underwater in this game. Like
Yeah,
good job.
like
Like
it really does.
they didn't really have to try that hard, but they did. So
Right?
that's cool.
Like you're just gonna do it once for an optional thing, but I just am like I'm not a game developer, but on the top of my head, like combat underwater sounds like a fucking nightmare.
It really
Because
does.
underwater is already a fucking nightmare, let alone that. So I'm just like,
I mean,
way, way to go.
have you ever played anything with good underwater combat besides Kingdom Hearts 1?
No, even in Monster Hunter 3, they abandoned it
Yeah, it's like
afterwards.
yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, good fight. I don't know which headless this one is. It's so dark I can't see it. So
Oh,
I'm gonna do Miss Noble
yeah,
again.
he's missing that one. Ishin Ashina, though,
The A tier, no.
yeah, he goes up in A with Emma because they belong together.
Yeah. I love how. I mean, I love. I actually think the type of level design that they tried, that they were kind of playing with post. I would say post Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls. I would say like post Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 is really like its own kind of separate world for like level design.
Yeah,
But like Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, and Sekiro all kind of exist in like a semi sort of linear open world thing. Dark Souls 3 probably being the least.
yeah,
I actually think Sekiro is the closest they've actually come to like mastering that kind of like a little bit in between concept.
me too. Yeah,
Because I just love how this fight can be in so many different like the nature of fight in general can be in so many different places in the game, like where you're at, because there's so much shit you can do outside of that fight.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like you can really end up. I mean, if you're good enough to beat Kenichiro, then you are good enough to beat Ishin Ashina. But he's still a really tough fight early on in the game.
Yeah, and also, it makes sense for him to be a little bit easier than the final boss because you fight him earlier on. And also because he's not at his full power, you're fighting current Ishin as opposed to like, magically reincarnated Ishin. Um, it's very cool, and he ends up fighting with fire, which is neat. It kind of like, brings in the whole Shura demon theme. Like he's almost like having to channel his own to try to fight you or something. It's pretty cool. And I just fucking love Ishin, dude. He's just a badass. I love this man. Dude, like Great Shinobi Owl, that's the broke, father that you had, you didn't care about. But Ishin is like, I want that to be
true
my dad. Yeah.
He's the sword master of Nausicaa.
Yeah.
Closest thing to it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, he's good. He's a good dad.
Juzo?
Drunkard.
I mean, I kind of put him in A. I mean, I almost feel like he doesn't deserve that, but I just like him.
I like him too.
And also too, it's another one of those moments where, I mean, I guess at this point we could just say like almost every boss is one of those fucking moments. But especially on your first playthrough, like, say you fight that guy in the courtyard before the snake, you're like, oh, this is too hard. I'm gonna go check out, I'm gonna go do the manor, and then you get to this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I don't know why this guy was way harder than Princess Butterfly or whatever. For me personally,
I agree. Maybe because, like, I mean, you get better fighting him. That's why Lady Butterfly might be seemingly easier afterwards. It's like you learn, because this guy probably has the biggest dick out of every character in Sekiro.
Absolutely, because well, too, like what he does, right? I mean, first of all, another one where you have to fight 20 fucking dudes before you even get to him.
Yeah.
You also have your little helper guy you could send in there, but I like
I love that shit.
Yeah, and I also love how you can release him strategically as well. Like you don't have to just let him charge in there. You could kill all the dudes, kind of lure Juzu back into the little swamp over there, and then have your boy come in and have a much better chance of success.
That's the only time in the game I think you can have a helper, dude.
Shit, I think it might be.
I think he is.
Goddamn.
It's such a man. I'm such a huge sucker for when FromSoft does shit like that. Like a lot of people, I feel like, because infamously, like Dark Souls 2 has the 3 DLCs, and each one has like an optional area that's very much specifically designed around like cooperative play. Like there's like a summon side right before it. The enemy like level layout is very clearly like this is like a kind of like a 2-player thing.
Yeah.
And obviously it gets a lot of shit from like purists that are afraid of summoning, but I mean you can do the beginning of the Drunkard fight and just by yourself, but I love the little extra spectacle you get when you're like another dude's fighting with you. There's this big fucker like hunting you down, but you want to take out all these like little. Obviously, you can't do stealth, but I think that's actually boring. I feel like that's why he's there. So it's like, well, you can't do stealth. It's kind of boring. You can just go all out, guns blazing, and just start mowing these dudes down, trying to avoid the Drunkard. And then when it's finally all done, it's like, all right, now the real fight begins. After you just had to wipe out like basically a classroom of samurai.
Yeah, man, and that's the only time you're gonna have a friend in this game, and I like to take that. It's nice. It makes this whole situation, which is kind of traumatic for the character himself, a little bit more tolerable for the character, and it's just cool to have a little cooperation in a game where you're very lonely otherwise.
Yeah, and it's a nice little, I mean, similar to like Dark Souls 2, like the main progression of like a lot of NPC quests is summoning them in a fight and then making sure they survive. I think that's also like a nice added like thematic touch to the fight too, is talking to them after he survives. You hear him like out of breath and it's like, yeah, we fucking took on that dude. That was crazy. What a cool moment.
Absolutely. That reminds me of probably the final point I guess I want to make about this guy. Is that the way he attacks heavily encourages greed. Or maybe it doesn't encourage it, but it tricks you into thinking you can be greedy. And that's why he fucks me up more than even, like, Lady Butterfly. Because especially, like, now I have a friend here who could die really easily. Like, it gets me, like, doing one too many hits and getting slapped in the face.
Yeah, he's one of the, and I mean, he's probably one of the first ones where if you block instead of parry, you feel your bones shake.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Also, he's got
you
that
see that
punch
posture
and
bar immediately like max out. You're like, oh fuck.
yeah. I mean, also, I gotta love any dude who's just like a big fat guy who like drinks some kind of like poison alcohol and poison shoots it out and poisons
Ah,
you.
yes.
I don't know,
Reminds
dude.
me of my favorite Mortal Kombat Deception character.
Oh.
There's one of them that he drinks and then he just throws up on the floor. And if you try to walk on it, you slip and fall in his throw up. Sort of like that one gif, if you've ever seen it. It's just like a dude walking out of a bar and he just like immediately projectile vomits everywhere on the floor and just like slips in it and falls. I've seen that gif like 100 times.
That's some good shit. You gotta send me that.
Yes, I will.
Hell
The
yeah.
second drunkard fight. I'm just gonna.
Um,
I mean,
I'm gonna Miss Noble him because he's even in the same
yeah,
area as the Miss Noble.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of cool in a sense, just to see like how far you've come. He's kind
Yeah,
of like that. I wouldn't really consider like a proper like real fight. He's more of, like fighting. What's the Dark Souls? The one
like a black
guy
knight.
you fight. The guy you fight in the tiny cramped place with the two dogs, and then you
Oh
like fight him
yeah,
again, and the like he's like it's like kind of like
true. Yeah, it is kind of like that for sure. Yeah, but we already talked about Juzo. You know Juzo. It's
yeah.
easier this time because you know what to do, and it's
Probably
just
spent
cool.
like 10 minutes talking about you, so
He's a good ass fight. I mean, I think like I like talking
I love
about the
him.
bosses who I think are a little bit underrated. Maybe people haven't like appreciated.
That's true. He
Like
is underrated.
meanwhile, we know fucking Sword Saint Ishin is like S plus plus. Honestly,
Yeah,
for
for a
me.
while, I mean, my version of being a hater of this fight was thinking that he's more of an S than an S plus, but he is an S plus.
I mean, I don't know what else you could fucking possibly want from a final boss, man.
You know, like
What, four
the only
phases, dude?
downside for me is just it is so fucking exhausting. Like an actual like the one of the only fights in this game where I actually felt like physically like drained after fighting.
That's why he's so good, man. Like,
Yeah.
because this whole game has been leading you up to this moment where you're gonna have to, like, literally, like, get dehydrated. Um,
Man, this game's so fucked up. It makes you get tired.
and like, dude, is like, it makes you master every fucking skill you've learned so far and throw it
Yeah.
together at double speed. And
Yeah.
like,
He just whips out his. He's like, and I pulled out my gun.
yeah,
Whips
dude.
out his. He whips out his fucking gat on you.
You're like, surely after the sword and the spear and the lightning, maybe he doesn't pull out the lightning till the end. I forgot, but and he's got a fucking gun too. It's just so cool, and it's neat to see this
Hmm.
character that you've been interacting with in his like old kind of feeble form, like in his top fucking form. And he's just got a great design too. I like that it's not overblown. It's just what he is, and his animations are really really good. Of course, also it brings you all the way back around to where you started the game, which is another pretty cool thing. That's a great
Yeah.
field. Um, FromSoft likes to do that too. I mean, once again, I'm gonna bring up Armored Core again. I'm pretty sure. Wait,
You need to
I'm gonna
release your
take that
TED
back.
talk, Bobby.
I'm gonna take that back. Because that's also something. It doesn't start and end you at the same level, but it does start and end you with the same soundtrack and the same type of level, which is
Yeah.
cool.
And just like from like a video game like cultural standpoint, I feel like a final climactic boss fight in like a field of like white flowers is a motif at this point that's followed many games, and their own little staple of it is also just another additional little thing that adds a lot to the fight for me. Like I think just like
Yeah,
Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake, and then like Valkyrie Profile, which I'm playing now, like opens up with that, and like I actually think Elysium ends with that too.
and
Yeah.
that's also too what elevates this so well because it takes that motif and it's like this is the challenge I've always wanted in this motif. I don't want to come here and just vibe.
Mm,
Like I want to fight the strongest dude ever in this field. It's just the greatest vibe. I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway,
And I mean, I'd say even with Elden Ring and like all the games he's is, yeah, he is. Well, I mean, he's more constructed than any like any RPG game. Like RPG games being like the general focus being you can have like dexterity beat the game, or you can use a combination, or like use like the RPG elements to help
yeah,
lessen the difficulty. Like this game has very little of that,
I love how
but
it
it is
becomes.
definitely the hardest fight in FromSoft history for
Yeah,
sure.
like there's been like a couple, times where your tools were a little bit less useful. In this one, it's like, dude, I just go shuriken just to get him when he's in the air because you don't have any fucking time to do like anything else. And I don't know, I just love
Yeah,
it. It forces you to just meet him kind of on his terms and be the better person.
yeah,
Anyway,
good shit, dude. Lady Butterfly.
Lady Butterfly. I'm putting her in A. I know that's going to be controversial. I know it's
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
it
be
is.
controversial.
I went straight for S. I have no hesitation.
To me, Lady Butterfly is kind of a weaker version of what you end up seeing later in the game. It is one of those things where it's like my personal bias for sure. I know some people had really struggled with this lady, but for me, after Juzo, I was rearing and ready to go for a fight where it has just like a constant rhythm, of blocking and hitting. And
Yeah.
this lady fits perfectly into the rhythm that I want to play with, and so I got her pretty quick.
Oh yeah, me too. But in that sense, it's kind of. I think it's. I would say, in a weird way, Lady Butterfly might have been like on my first playthrough, the first time I had fun.
Really?
Or like I
That's you
didn't
know
feel
what? That's a good
like
point though, actually.
I
That is a
didn't
good
feel like
point.
a crushing sense of
That's
this like the
true.
oppressiveness of like the mechanics and like the like all like level like the combat design in Sekiro. Like I felt
Yeah.
like at that point I had left what I had learned from Dark Souls behind, and like I'm ready for a like 3 tier like or a 3 health
Yeah.
bar like boss fight.
I'm putting her into S actually. Yeah, now that you mentioned that. Because I mean, it's like after all these bosses where there's like 20 fucking guys around and like you gotta just be on your guard. Like you said, you're just suffering. You finally get to be
Mhm.
let loose with Lady Butterfly. Like there's only I think one guy in the way. You just go straight to the boss fight and you get to slapping. Um,
Yep.
yeah, it's fucking fun. That's a really good point. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, just with that first playthrough. I think on the second ones, he's definitely like less mechanically dense than some of the
Yeah,
others.
she's just kind of
Like the
there.
other like big like has like a thing like she's Lady Butterfly like has like a name. Like you can kind of point out like who's like the real big like when they have like their official like pronoun as their name. Like they're a big fight in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good. Lone
Yeah.
Shadow Long Swordsman.
Who the fuck?
He's the guy when you go back to where you start at the very beginning of the game. That's just like vibing down there.
What the fuck, dude?
I like this guy actually.
I, what? Wait, he's like, is he in front of the little like tutorial door?
Yes. So you
Okay.
go back to where you like the very first screen of the game. He's sitting there.
I must have only fought this guy once, maybe
Really?
maybe
Because he
twice.
actually, once you get the grapple, like you kill him and you can, it's like an alternate path into like the weird, I think it's the weird dungeon zone. I actually think that's where you first, where I first saw the first Fisherman Warrior.
Yeah, that's where I saw
I
him too.
believe so. Because
Yeah.
yeah, you can sneak through that area, or you can take like the alternate route through the like where you see the vendor and then you like go through like the weird dungeon and then you see the Shishman Warrior. Like I think those are the two ways to go through that. I believe he's completely optional, but he's just like he is like the epitome for me, like a solid B fight.
Yeah, he sounds like a B, but I can't in good conscience rank him if I don't remember him.
That's
So
fair.
he goes in Miss Noble.
Lone Shadow Masanaga, the Spear Bearer Serpent Shrine. All right, that's Oh yeah, everyone knows him. Is this the Serpent Shrine? Is this the first?
Serpent Shrine.
Okay, so he's the same as the Harada Estate Spear Bearer. So I'm
Oh,
just gonna rate both as B.
yeah.
It's another just classic. Learn this mechanic or you don't get by.
Yeah,
And this is like one of the few early game fights that is fog walled, if I'm not mistaken. I'm
it
pretty
is. I'm pretty
sure
sure it is.
you cannot get past that area without fighting him,
Yeah,
which is great.
he's
Because
fun.
you gotta learn how to do the Mickery counter.
Yeah, it's just a nice little Mickey counter check. It's fun. It's a nice little fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, who the fuck is Lone Shadow Vile Hand? Who
He's
the
the guy
fuck?
who
He has
shows up in
poison.
the tower where the like blue samurai guy was.
Oh,
Remember that? Like the counter guy where you gotta learn to counter.
yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy who shows up in there afterwards.
Huh. I must have fought him.
Um,
I just don't remember this homie.
yeah, I'm gonna
Huh.
put him in B. He has two little of those purple kicky guys in his room with him, and you gotta get them first. And then this guy's
Oh
got like
yeah.
poison and shit.
Okay, I remember. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in C. I don't just from the fact that I had to like dig him up so much. But
Yeah.
I remember it just being like a solid fight.
Once I remembered him, I remembered. I enjoyed this fight. I'll put him at B.
Cool.
Nice.
I think the centipede ones, they're the like only mini boss that never gave me any problem ever.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. Long arm centipede giraffe is an S.
What the fuck are you talking about right now?
That's his name.
The guy that just has all the arms, he's like swing, 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 swing,
Yeah,
swing, 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 swing.
yeah. Long arm
What the fuck,
centipede giraffe. That's his name.
Bobby? The only way you'd put long arm centipede giraffe in S is if you had a long arm centipede giraffe.
I love this guy. Fuck off. He's one of my favorite fights every time because it's like you know that rhythm and you're just like, I am jamming. I don't know. I love him. It's
Alright, fuck.
I like
Alright,
how
you mentioned jamming. I'm like remembering. I'm like, dude, I felt like I was playing Guitar Hero fighting this guy. That's kind of sick.
exactly like I love how it's like most of the other fights have a lot going on. This guy, it's like let's play a rhythm game. I just think he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he is the most obvious. This is a rhythm game.
I
That's how I remember.
Yeah.
Like that was his like attack.
exactly, dude. After a while,
It
you're
is pretty cool.
yeah. I love this
Dude,
guy.
we all know where Miss Noble's going.
Yep.
Easy.
Easy S plus.
That's the pinwheel of Sekiro for sure.
I will not remove him from S
Oh,
plus.
You are brave.
No,
Only
I
only
guess not.
brave. Only the Sekiro players that actually got good know what's up with Miss Noble.
Yeah. Actually, I will
Dude.
genuinely put him in S. I love these kinds of fights. You can hear him. You can hear him playing his little flute all throughout the level. He's making the ghost spawn. I think. I love how you're just like spooked as fuck. Like you hear all these weird, creepy sounds. You climb into the building. You're looking at him. You're like, what the fuck is that? And you go down and you kill him in like 2 hits. It's just,
Yeah, that's it.
it's just fun. I mean, he's a nice like he sets the tone for the area. Like he functions more as like the cornerstone of like the entire area than a boss.
That is true. Like he's like the epitome of like the vibe of that place.
Yeah, exactly. And for that, thanks for playing your tunes and making that a more fun level, Miss Noble.
Yeah, I think that level I remember not really liking it the first time. I kind of appreciate it more in like retrospect than I did like the first time going through, but just because it is a weird.
It's aight,
It's like
it's a
it's like
connecting
the only
area.
level that's just like that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like everyone else like has like I don't know, like a sense of like majestic or kind of like that. And that there's like, oh, this is kind of fucked.
There is a
I'm
little.
just gonna wiggle my way through here. Yes.
It's a little bit like that weird little Dark Souls 3 area with the with the bird men. The little
Yeah.
weird pathway.
Dude, they should have gone like full shaded woods and like added on the fog like 10 deep.
Yeah, they should have had more fog, but they did have invisible ghost dudes like the shaded.
That
forest,
is true.
and that's what puts it way above anything in Dark Souls 3.
I fucking love those dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Well, Excalibur the first one, they actually like add more of them, which is great because it's another reminder. Like, hey, don't use a lock on every single fight ever. Here's some dudes that you actually just can't lock onto.
Yep.
Good times.
Good times. Okami leader
Okami
Shizu.
leader Shizu.
I'm gonna put him in A.
I why can't I remember this dude? I know he's so Fountainhead Palace.
He's the baller at the top of the fountain head.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's the guy shooting lightning balls at you.
Yeah, anybody that's a baller gets a B.
I'm putting him in A. Oh, but B for baller.
No.
I'm sorry, Okami leader.
I mean, B for ball is life.
No, I'll be real. I love this dude. I think he's great. You know, I really have a soft spot for like these bosses that like fuck with you throughout the whole level, and then you finally get to him.
Yeah,
it's
and it's like it's a tough fight, but it's not like crushingly difficult. It's more just satisfying to
it's
like.
Fun. It's just a fun.
Yeah, oh,
fight.
yeah.
Like you get to parry his little ball. Oh my god, you get to use some lightning shit.
That is a classic From Software motif of he's the fat official of Sekiro.
Yeah, I love this dude.
Except it would have been cooler if like a tougher, meaner boss like stabbed him through the stomach or something. But you know, it's still a good time.
All these guys too are also too. You know, he's like a there's lore. You know, these guys. It looks like they're kind of like doing something, which is neat. Like they're not just like milling about. They are milling about randomly, but a little bit less so than in some other games. And I just really like the animations of these guys, the ballers, and the ones with the swords too. They just really good animation work.
Yeah, I mean it definitely elevates the level because not only is it like one of the big like aesthetic reveals of like holy shit, this place is gorgeous, but you fight incredibly cool dudes as well. Can it be? Doesn't get better than that.
Pretty much.
You got that weird side quest with the giant fish.
Yeah, dude, man. That shit is so good, dude.
Yeah, that level. I mean, it's probably the best besides the Sheena Palace, obviously, but like the best level in Sekiro for sure.
Dude, I just realized too that the guy, the weird little guy in the pot.
Yeah, Pot Man.
That's like it's kind of like a weird like foreshadowing of like the fish mechanic, like where you have to I guess not really, but I don't know. There's something there. I don't know. I
forgot about that dude. That's a heck of a dude.
I love that guy. Okay. Oh.
All right. I can't remember who Orin of the Water is.
Oh yeah, she's the lady who plays the shamisen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's A tier, man. That's literally straight out of like 60s and 70s, like more low fantasy, like Japanese films. Like she's so good.
She's really good. I honestly want to put her an S. Actually, I'm moving Okami leader down to B. I'm gonna be more realistic now.
Dude, have you seen Yugetsu?
No.
Dude, man, that's a good movie. Just a Japanese like ghost story. It's such a fucking movie though. I mean, there's no like fighting or anything in it, but it just follows the general plot Yugetsu being like fuck around and find out when you put like basically this guy leaves his family to be a merchant in a different place to send him back money, and eventually he gets tempted by this like I don't want to say like princess, but basically like Japanese princess, and she ends up and he stops sending her money. He basically marries her while he's still married to his wife. His kids and his wife die, and she's actually a ghost.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good fucking movie.
Nice.
One of the classics. Anyway, reminds me of that kind of shit, that kind of vibe.
Nice.
Media A tier, and it's also just a great fight. And I love it when they incorporate like music actually like in like to the characters themselves. It's like.
Yeah. I love
so
too.
Good.
It's like she's one of the few. She's like an NPC, right? You start off. I forgot if you walk past her, I think she'll attack you, maybe. But if you go around, you could go up the bridge, and I think just ignore her.
I think so. I don't think she's immediately hostile.
She's definitely not immediately hostile. I forgot what ways you can make her hostile, but definitely by talking to her too much. Okay. Anyway, So you talk to this lady, and then and then she aggroes on you after a little bit of lore, and kind of telling you what's up with her. It's just fucking cool, and it's an excellent fight.
Yeah. Another one that just makes you feel weird and scared.
Yeah, yeah.
Also great too.
It's weird too, because like Sekiro is not necessarily like the other games. Like horror is kind of more of a core element. And Sekiro doesn't seem like that on the surface, but there's a lot of really cool like horror moments like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just done just a little bit more unexpected for sure. Like
Yeah.
obviously like the other games like Tower Latria or like when you're making the way down to Blighttown and then like Dark Souls 2 like they have the Gulch and the Gutter. Yeah.
Yeah.
which so they're a little bit more
Oh.
straightforward with what are the spooky things. When these like it feels much more natural to kind of discover a spooky thing
Yes.
in a less spooky vibe game. So very cool.
And I think this is the only character I could think of that's like this, where you like in any Souls game. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you could like talk to him, have like a normal conversation, and then she just freaks out on you and starts killing you. I don't know. It's cool.
Love it.
It's good.
It is very cool.
True corrupted monk.
Homie.
He goes nay, almost S.
I'm actually in between. I throw him an S like off first instinct, but kind of in between. I don't know. I mean, he's gorgeous arena, gorgeous fight.
Yep.
Very fun. Love the bridges. Love the like getting onto the branch of the tree.
The one at the back. Then jump down and deliver the death blow to take away its first health bar.
Like everything about this fight is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing keeping it is just that like next level factor. Really, I mean, it's an excellent boss fight. It even has like some pretty cool twists and turns. You get the centipede coming out of his head at the end. Like you said, there's the cool mechanic with the tree where you can get that free hit in. Really cool moveset as well. Once again, really well animated. I don't know. Anything else?
Yeah. That's about it. I mean, I do love his little the like attack where it like spins around and hits you. That shit's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think he's missing like a special like in any other game. This could be like a final boss, and they'd be like, "Wow, that's like an amazing fight." But in like a From Software game with like, I have like four in each of the S and S plus tier. Like he just stands out as like, that's still an amazing fight. But yeah, just missing a little bit of the special factor to it.
Absolutely.
Sakura Bowl of the Palace. It is the bowl again.
I guess I'll put it in C.
I'm
Maybe.
just gonna put it. Miss No. I don't really remember fighting the bull a second time. Maybe I didn't.
I fought him.
This sounds like an optional fight. Like
It
that
absolutely
you
is.
Just
He's like-
explore and then you find.
He's like prowling around the outside of the like houses in the first part of that level, of the water level. Yeah, it's the bull, except this time he's like a ghostly bull.
Ooh, ghost bull.
I'm gonna put him in B because he freaks me out. Because I remember every time I try to do that level, like I hear him tromping around back there, and it just fucks me up, and I cannot. Like the area's already spooky enough with like the squid guys and all this shit, and I see that thing back there, and it freaks me out, and I have to kill it every time. Otherwise, I feel
Wait.
unsafe.
Bobby, are you saying that like aesthetic decisions and like or like aesthetic preferences might affect your ranking in an objective boss ranking?
Whoa.
Something besides strict mechanics? What the fuck?
Whoa. I mean, it's the
This-
same
this-
fight, but I just think
this is-
it's more interesting.
Yeah. Being facetious. This is
No, you can't do that.
not allowed. Second Chained Ogre.
Aesthetics are for
I'd put him.
babies.
Oh wait, what?
I just said aesthetics are for babies.
They are actually for babies. Only babies.
Babies fucking love aesthetics, don't they?
That's why when babies paint, it looks like Jackson Pollock.
It's true, dude. They're connected. They're in the collective consciousness.
Maybe Jackson Pollock was a famous artist because he was just the oldest baby. He was bald too, so you know.
To quote Joe Rogan, Adult baby.
Podcast voice. Yes.
Second chained
Uh-huh.
ogre.
Adult baby. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Dude, another chain door. I just threw him in B tier. I didn't want to do like Miss Noble just because I find the just like the location of him being like in like the center of the castle is like cool as shit.
Yeah.
I just the way, place you fight him is really fun.
Yeah, it's it's chained ogre again, but it's just a cooler spot. But I don't think it's cool enough to put it into A.
No. I mean, I have the first chain ogre in B. It isn't better just because of like where he is, but he's I think it's different enough that I would rate it again.
Yeah, for sure.
And also just a B. Great fight, cool little place, like all the secrets in there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Second Judgment. Okay, Miss Noble. Fuck off, dude.
Yeah, fuck right off.
7 Ashina spears. Oh, this is
I
the
love,
spear guy. I love this
I
guy.
fucking love this motherfucker. He goes into A.
Yeah. He's that good shit.
I love that moment when you realize like you're in this tutorial area again. When you're going through this place, like you just like work your way up. You're like, oh fuck, I've been here.
Yeah.
And he's just like guarding the place to just because they like. I love the little like narrative touch of like him guarding it because they know that you might come back
Yeah.
at some point. Like that's so cool, and he's just a really good fight. But definitely like in retro, like he's another one where like New Game Plus, like you're just gonna like go like fucking wreck him immediately. But the
Yeah, yeah.
first one being like a real tough fight. So
Absolutely. Yeah, he's just a lot of fun. It's a solid A fight, a good spear fight, there's only a few
God, yeah, the
spear
spear
fights.
fights in this game. I mean, I love how they use them like just like they don't overdo it, but
Yeah.
the ones that are in this game are so good.
Yeah, cuz it really ingrains in your mind like that fucking spear. Like like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Like I said, my neural pathways like remember the feeling of seeing the red bar above his head and being like, "Oh fuck, I got to do the move. I got to do the move.
You gotta do the
Fuck
move.
it up. I'm not gonna dodge right into his attack. I'm gonna do the move."
Good shit.
Yeah, good shit. 7 Ashina Spear
Oniwa. Oh, you got another of the Oniwa family. Who the fuck is this guy?
That is a good question.
I think
Who is this homie?
I don't fucking know, dude. I'm watching him here. He's fighting another dude and you. I don't
Oh
know.
fuck.
How did
Oh,
I
that
miss
sounds
this
sick.
dude? Like that's why I like Sekiro, dude. They got so many cool things. Just like I thought I fucking beat everything, but I would have remembered this guy. So
Yeah.
guess it's time
I'm
to
gonna
do
have to
Sek
throw him
again,
just.
dude.
Oh, I'll put him in dud. Didn't do
Yeah,
here just because I honestly don't think I did this, dude.
yeah. That's sad. This would have been a great. This looks like a fun fight.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got
Dude.
Shigekichi of the Red Guard. Damn.
Who is?
Get down here, dude.
Who's this dude again?
It's Shigekichi of the Red Guard.
Ah, yeah, my old pal.
I think this guy might be a more fucked up version of the guy before the snake in like the first area.
That's what I think too.
That's what he is. Whoa, dude. Yeah, that's what he is. He's like an upgraded version of that guy. So
I remember.
I remember this guy.
I'm gonna put him in B because I actually, now that we talk about it, I do remember fighting him. I don't remember him as much as a lot of the early game mini bosses because those took hours of my life, and he probably took like maybe tops 30 minutes the first time through.
Yeah, he's cool.
Just because you've already known his moveset, he's just a batter dude.
Yeah, he's that guy from the beginning. He's got a better entourage this time around.
Dude, Shinobi Hunter.
And Shinobi Hunter. Oh, I think I know. I think this is the guy. Wait a second, dude. This is the
Yeah, I know this guy.
This is the first spear guy. Oh, what?
Wait, what the fuck? There's no way.
Yeah, this is the guy with the fog gate.
No fucking way.
It is.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna put him in the special tier because I mean, I would just put him in the same. Except he is that first one is probably my favorite, but Damn.
Shinobi Hunter Engine of Misen.
That one dude that's in the that like in the estate that we were talking about though, the one that's like obviously more powerful than like every other enemy in that area is
Yeah.
actually one of my favorites.
I
I
love
wish he was on here. He just doesn't have a boss bar or nothing.
Yeah.
I love like when they do that, like sort of like Demon Souls when they put the Red-Eyed Knight in like the first level, like one enemy that like very clearly signifies like this is not for right now, but if you want to fuck around, you can find out.
Yep.
Because every single like the first time I played it, I fought him until I beat him because I can't help myself.
Yeah. I
I've been
did the
playing
same shit,
FromSoft
dude.
games for too long. The first time I ever played Dark Souls, I killed Havel as my starting class was the bandit.
Yeah, you gotta.
I killed him before the first fight, the first main boss fight. So yeah, I had that's how I roll.
That's how you do it, dude.
Yeah,
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes is alright.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the first Snake Eyes. I kind of want to put him in A.
Really?
Yeah, there's just a little something missing, I guess, from this fight. I really like it. I like the run up, on the bridge with the dude shooting at you. I like that it's like a gun guy fight, kind of changing up the thing.
Oh yeah, actually that is the first time you do see guns. So Ishin pulling out his Gad isn't quite so unusual,
Yeah,
but still, yeah, I think I put him in B.
yeah, he's going in B, and same
But
with the other Snake Eyes.
I put the other one I think a little lower, just because I think the arena and like the setup to fighting the Snake Eye in the poison area is really cool.
That's really that's solid. I'm gonna put them both in B. First Snake Eyes for the cool shooting, bridge thing. Second Snake Eyes because Poison Swamp.
Oh yeah,
B.
media bonus.
Third Shichiman, Miss Noble. Who the fuck
Going-
is Tokujiro? I think actually this is the guy I thought was the second incarnation of Jozo. He's the same thing as the Drunkard, except he's just after the Miss Noble.
Oh cool.
Okay, B. Tokujiro the Glutton.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw him in C. I mean, he's still like a fun fight, but
All right, and leader Shigenori Yamauchi. That's the guy we were talking about, like in the optional area in the estate.
oh yeah, he's going.
Yeah, he goes in A.
I fuck with him every single time. You have to.
You have to.
Gotta love the little optional dudes that are way above your skill level in early game areas.
Absolutely.
It is a trope that hopefully shall never die.
Absolutely. Well, shit,
Well,
we
dude,
made
here
it,
we-
man.
You know, this is how much you fucking talk about these games.